My name's Scotty Stopnik. We're in Huntington Beach, California. I'm born and raised here. We're in my shop, Cycle Zombies. It's kind of like a motorcycle shop, pretty much old Harleys. It's what we do here. Not really open to the public in a sense, and we don't really put bikes up for sale, like per se. It's more like you're just painting a picture to hang on your wall. You know, you ride that bike for a little bit and then someone might hit you up and say, I really like that thing. Is that for sale? And you're like, well, instead of keeping money in the bank, you just kind of keep money in these things. So I was always afraid of having like a click in, click out, 9 to 5 kind of job. I grew up and made kind of a living out of surfing. My dad would take me to swap meets. I remember just buying such random stuff. My girlfriend at the time, Lindsay, she would go to the swap meet with me. We'd pedal our bikes there and we were just kind of like junkyard dogs. I was really into like vintage surfboards and skateboards, and at a young age went to Japan when I was like 16 with the guy I was getting surfboards from. And then you start like going to vintage shops there and like getting an email and then sending photos of like my bedroom. I had just like probably 50 old surfboards in there, and like, you know, hey mom, this is like, you know, Masa or whatever, a guy I met in Japan. He wants to come over, and he was like left and he spent like $3 grand on some old surfboards. And I'm like, man, like you could ride them and then, you know, sell them. And I was just like having some money in my pocket to be able to just like do what I wanted to do and not have to like click into like a job. I had some Vespas when I was like 16 years old. I was kind of really into like the late 70s pop punk, you know, era stuff, and I thought Vespas were pretty cool. And mine had a big dent on it and like a red cross on the side of it. Riding that around and like splitting in between cars, it just felt like free feeling, like bombing a hill on a skateboard. So it's a 1946 Harley Davidson Knucklehead. It's my bike. It's kind of inspired by like just that 60s outlawish looking bike. I bought this frame from a friend, this guy Rick. I went over to look at some parts in kind of Santa Ana area, had a warehouse. I wanted a chrome frame at the time, and especially it being like chromed a long time ago. That tank's like a Hap Jones, a tank that was an accessory tank. It's a Cobra looking seat, so it's called the Bates Cobra seat. All these parts on this bike are exactly how it would be built back in that time frame, you know? But yeah, I mean, I've put thousands of miles on this motorcycle. It's a good bike, man, and I really enjoyed a lot of the people I've ridden next to on it, the places that it's gotten me. You know, the name Cycle Zombies, it was just bringing back this old bike back to life. It's been 18 years or something. People will see a bike and they'll be like, that's a CZ bike. Like, it's got a certain look and a certain feel. I like them to look like it was something built back in the day, you know? So it's just this like sweaty, old crusty bike that you could really get down and ride and not have to be so concerned about, you know, scratching it or something. I'll find one part, maybe a gas tank or even like a set of handlebars, as stupid as that sounds, and you kind of like build that whole bike around that thing. You start with like that bottom end of an engine, you know, and then you go have that frame that you bought 3 years ago at a swap meet in Northern California. When you look at each piece, you're like, oh yeah, I got that at that swap meet. Oh yeah, I drove, you know, round trip 13 hours, you know, slept in the back of the van, and all I got was that smashed up tank for like too much money. A lot of like blood, sweat, and tears goes into finding each thing.